Raiders. So today I'm going to be taking y'all along with me, showing a little bit a day in the life of a college commuter student and give some of my pros, cons, tips, social life and all that. So let's jump right into it. Okay, so it is 8:30 and I am about to drive to my 9 a.m. class and not looking forward to it, just not feeling it today. It's like a 20-minute drive, so it's not too bad. We're gonna jam some music and I'll see y'all when I get to class. Okay, so I've made it to campus and this is part's kind of a little boring. So I'm gonna real quick go to my short little 15-minute class and then come back out and talk a little bit more about how my days go on these Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. So yeah, woohoo, back on. Okay, the lighting is really weird, but I just got out of class really early. It is 9:15. My class was at 9. It took me longer to drive to campus than it did to be in class. You know, it's alright. You know, good for me for being a good student and going to class. Yeah. Okay, so now the thing is I don't have to be back on campus until 4:30 because normally I come back at 3 because I have a 3 p.m. class, but that class got moved to online for today. So now I just have this really long break, and I think that's when it kind of is well, what do I do? Do I drive 20 minutes home? Do I hang out on campus, see some people and stuff like that? Today I'm going to go home because I need to run some errands along the way, and you know, there's just some pros and cons to being a commuter student. So let's go. Hello, so I just got home from class and I ran a couple of errands along the way, but I thought I would sit down real quick and talk a little bit more about the pros and the cons of being a commuter student. So I've also kind of seen both sides of things, because my first year of college I decided to live at home and I was a commuter student. Then my second year of college I moved out and decided to live on my own, and now I am in my final semester of college and I'm back to living at home and being a commuter student. So I've definitely seen both sides of things, but yeah, so jumping right into it, the first pro that probably everyone knows, and it's the biggest pro to being a commuter student, is that you are saving money. Of course, you are living at home most likely for free. You have some free food, free laundry, free everything. Obviously, that is the biggest pro, is that you are saving money when you are living at home. That is definitely probably the biggest reason that I decided to move back home, because why would I want to spend my last semester paying 4 months of rent when I can just live at home and save money as I'm preparing to graduate and move out on my own to start a career. So yeah, next up, the next pro is that you're just gonna be comfortable and you'll be with your family. So it's just more so an environment that you're used to, obviously, because you're at the home that you most likely grew up in. So you're comfortable, and you also have your family right there, so you can always depend on them, you know, hang out with them, and you know, they're always just there for you. And also just having privacy, which is a weird thing to say because you are living at home with your family, but it's also you have your own room, your own space. You kind of just, when you're ready to be away from things, you can just go to your room and do your own thing, work, study, and all that, versus being in an apartment or being in a dorm where you had to share such a small living space with your roommate. So depending on how you like things, I feel like just being at home, you tend to get a little more privacy because, you know, your family just respects your privacy and you get to have your alone time in your room. And the next pro that I have definitely firsthand experience is I feel being a commuter student has forced me to be more productive. When I lived on my own, the productive level that I had for school increasingly dropped. But now being back home, I feel I'm definitely picking back up and being more productive and studying in my free time when I can and all of that stuff. It's a weird thing to say, but I just feel being at home, it just makes you be more productive when it comes to school. I don't know how to describe it, but I definitely experienced it when I did live on my own. Alright, so that was to say about the most main pros. Obviously there is so many pros to being a commuter student, but along the way comes with some cons of being a commuter student. So the first con is the college experience that you may be getting or you may not be getting, because of course you're not on campus, you're not spending as much time on campus. So you might be missing out on some events because you're not there late at night and you're not able to like meet people because you can't just sit in your dorm room with your door open to have people come in and be able to like socialize and meet new people. That's probably the like biggest thing is the college experience. But just because that's a con doesn't mean that you can't have a good college experience, which I'll talk more about in like tips for being a commuter student after this. And then probably like the other big con is just having like less reliable transportation and like distance. So for me, it's only a 20-minute commute. I know that's not that bad, and also just being in Lubbock, nothing is technically really like that far. But I know being a commuter student in like bigger cities can be more of a hassle, but you just have less reliable transportation. Like if you're driving yourself to school, you never know what can happen if you get stuck in traffic because an unforeseen accident happened and you're just stuck in traffic, and it's just distance wise, you're just not on campus, you're not that close, so it's just having less reliable transportation. Okay, so now for some quick tips on being a commuter student. My first tip is to take advantage of those breaks. Whether you have a 30-minute break or a 2-hour break, I definitely recommend utilizing your breaks and staying on campus, because staying on campus you can grab a bite to eat with your friends, grab some snacks, or just study on campus. And it's a great way to meet some new people and also just get yourself more comfortable at campus, just because you're spending more time on there, and as you spend more time there, you'll become more comfortable with the campus, even though you're not living on campus. My next tip is to always leave a little early. So yes, I live 20 minutes away, but I tend to leave about like an hour to 45 minutes before class. For one, so I can get a good parking spot, but also just so if anything were to happen, any traffic or anything, I'm not like stressed like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be late to my class. I can just be worried free because I left early and I have plenty of time still to get to class. So definitely leave a little early for class for that good parking spot, and so you don't have to stress about being late. My next tip is to don't be afraid to talk to people, and don't be afraid to get involved, join some student clubs and organization, because I know like being a commuter student, you can feel disconnected to campus just because you're like not there all the time compared to other students, but college students seem a lot more friendlier than you may think. Everyone is there just trying to meet new people and make friends, so don't be afraid to talk to people in your classes, get their contact info, and just ask if they want to study or hang out. And definitely make sure you go to your like student organization fair so you can see what kind of student clubs and organizations there are, so you can maybe find one that piques your interest and meet people who have similar interests and hobbies to you. My next tip is to use your campus resources. Just because you're a commuter student does not mean that you cannot utilize the resources that your campus has to offer. Like places such as the Career Center, the library, dining halls are just as helpful to people who are on campus to commuter students as well. I mean, also we're paying for them, a part of our fees, so you might as well utilize all the helpful resources that your campus has to offer. And my last tip as a commuter student is to appreciate home life. As annoying as it can be to be living at home as a college student, you should definitely just appreciate the big comfy bed that you have to come for, your own personal space, and just being in a comfortable, recognizable environment that you always know and love, and you should just appreciate it and never take it for granted. So yeah, those are some pros and cons and tips for being a commuter student, and I'm about to get ready to go back to class, so I'll see y'all soon. Alright y'all, hello. I just got home from class. It is about 6:30. My last class runs from 4:30 to 5:50, and it's not the most fun just because it just feels like super late, but I'm kind of tired, so I'm gonna study, do some homework. I have some tests coming up. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if y'all have any questions, leave them down below, and yeah, see y'all soon. Wreck 'em!